to the front. If you have a bit of a fall, on the ball, and David Brown decides to make his own tackle, and this is what he made. David Brown was saying these tackles take. With maybe the mind that he had both legs at one side, great match between the top. So that's the Rugby International, the big forward for. We've really like these practice in America, the world few in the UK. I think this is the UK practice. And if a few of you may remember the old Vauxhall and Bedford Rascal vans, they were actually Suzuki's. Well, it's a similar idea. Ford stuck their stickers on a Japanese tractor and then marketed them out. Still exceptional quality, and of course so because it's still here in operation. Still capable of a day's work. How fast does it go on the road? About 9 miles an hour, so you can get from A to B reasonably successfully. Great to see it here, thank you. So back in the world of David Brown, we saw the VAC1 earlier on with the 2 seats. David Brown decided that they were going to cheapen things, actually, make the aerodynamics themselves, streamline themselves, so they actually got rid of that double seat and put some far more basic wings on the 25D. Tell us a bit about this tractor.
It's one of the last 25Ds built in 1958. You've got a Lucas rotary pump on it instead of the... It was an ex-army, we think, and it came from Nuneaton at some point. That's about as much as I know about it.
Wow, so ex-army. These tractors went all over the world to numerous different militaries, and it just shows, especially the British Army, they weren't a huge fan of modern technology, so they bought the very last of these models of tractors because they knew they were good. Even the army, they didn't really use diesel until fairly recently, to be honest. Great to see this tractor here, and of course the Huddersfield tractor hasn't travelled too far away from when it was built. Just note it's got later wheels on there. I believe they're from a 900. It's got a Fordson Dexter next. So tell us a bit about this tractor.
It's a 1958. It started its life as a school-driven gang mower.
So relatively easy life this one, pulling the gang mower. And no doubt it wouldn't have had these tyres on, it would have had quite smooth tyres on, so that it didn't damage the grass, so grass tyres. And the Checkers, the vacuum tractor Zeta over there, that's got the grass tyres on. So no doubt this tractor would have had those tyres on it. Enjoyed a very, very easy life, which of course has helped it into the world of preservation. Great to see here in the arena. The little Dexter built to compete with the likes of the Ferguson 35 and also the David Brown 770s. So this is the second of our modified cylinder. Of course it's a Ford truck, pretty much goes straight into a Ford tractor. Very, very powerful machine, this. I just have to drive. What's it mainly used for? I go, having fun. Quite often they would have been used that modification for the Forestry Commission and possibly tractor pulling as well. Goes a fair lick on the road. I've been looking at maybe 30 miles an hour on the road, are we? 35, so a very quick tractor. Great to see here, complete with ratchet strap holding the bonnet on as well. But wonderful to see all these different patinas. Got David Brown 990, which is one of the earlier David Brown. We have a slightly later one. This is one from the middle of the road of David production. Tell us a bit about this.
It's built 1962, David Brown 990, is dramatic. Spent its working life on the Beverley Way and then left the Rottenable.
It probably works harder in its preservation life than it has in its working life, especially if it works out in Beverley. I've never really seen it here. It's certainly seeing plenty now, yeah, and Adam has used this tractor for everything from tractor pulling to pretty much driving the length and breadth of the country. Have you rode it here from home? How long did it take you to get here?
Just over 2 hours.
From Aquif in Wakefield, towing the sledge and numerous other bits and pieces on the back of it as well. And the caravan, so had a road train. Now Adam's done numerous different modifications of this tractor to gear it up. It was quite slow back in the day, wasn't it? Now capable of what, 25, 30 miles an hour? No, only 18. So it was originally doing 10, 12 miles an hour. So
tractor, really geared it up. You can alter the drives on the back of these to make them go a little bit faster, put the bigger tyres on so it rolls out better. But a phenomenal tractor. I've known this tractor for quite a few years, probably over 20 years. Great to see it back out on the show field and hear it ticking away again. Thank you. Into the horticultural section now. We've got a brace of wheel horses. These tractors, not just your basic garden tractors, they do have a chassis made of some exceptionally strong steel, built out in America, and you can pretty much do whatever you want with these, even with a big tractor you can do with this little tractor. It just happens a little bit slower, and of course anything's a little bit smaller. You can get a one for a plough, cultivators, rotivators, all sorts, cane bobs to go on the back of these. As you can see from Richard's tractor, you put a winch on the back. There's lots of things you can do with these little tractors. I've got a field marshal. Let's have a look at this. These tractors built in Gainsborough, down in Lincolnshire. Really quite unique vehicles these. Now they're built based on the Lance Bulldog, which was built out in Germany. These vehicles got one cylinder and it runs front to back of the tractor. The bore of that cylinder is just 6 inches and it's about 3.5 litres, so 3.5 litre engine on one cylinder. And if you just pull up and drop it, just drop down, you can see the bounces up and down. Not the nicest thing to be sat out there, is it? Have we got the starting handle? There's the ignition key. So it's a fairly thing, and there's no starter motors for these either. You put the starting handle in the flywheel just there, swing it round 3 turns and hope to hell that it's going to fire. If it doesn't fire, you generally end up laid in front of the tractor 10 foot in front on your back, and it's usually a trip to A&E. Great to see this little tractor here, exceptionally strong. We used to play about with these up at the old Pickering Fair, put them on the tractor pull and they would wipe the floor. All those fancy modified Fords and Majors, this would do far better on that one cylinder. 2-stroke diesel engine, it will not run without that exhaust on it, and it's known as a partial loss. Partial loss means that it throws quite a lot of its engine oil out as well. So if you've got your best white shirt on, when this tractor comes back, just to take a step back. It also blows some nice smoke rings. Is that everybody? So once again, it's huge thank you to all our drivers for fetching them into the arena. Headed up Johnny with his Fords and Majors, a 6-cylinder engine in there out of a combine harvester. Lovely sounding tractor, very, very powerful machine. On the back there, Johnny's going to be having a small scene gathering, I believe it's the 25th and 26th of July at Willowfield campsite. We give them a look up on the internet, nice little day out that we had there, that's over at Paxton Gainsborough. Got your Amelia there on the little grey Ferguson. Now normally she spends her weekends driving racing cars and go-karts. She's in her element there, perfectly capable of driving that little grey Ferguson, normally buzzing around the track at very high speed, having quite a leisurely weekend on the little grey Ferguson. Then we've got the Unimog, German-built Unimog, and we just demonstrated that earlier in its lowest gear. Just look how slow that thing can go, but also capable of doing 60 miles an hour on the motorway as well. Then we've got Ford, that's the Ford 4000 up there. Looks great for brown at that one. Very, very early Dexter Brown tractor. Good to see that, I must admit, I do like the tractor. Now we are going to have a go at the reversing competition. So if you have a driving licence and you have reversed the tractor and trailer before, welcome to have a go. Well, the prize is an invisible crown for the day. We're going to have a go for the next 20 minutes or so until we welcome the next section into the arena here at Sheffield. We are hopefully going to have a go at the tractor trailer reversing competition. If you'd like to have a go at reversing the tractor and trailer around a chicane of bins that we are currently collecting from around the edge of the arena, volunteers at the commentary box. However, you must be proficient in reversing a tractor and trailer. Now up at the far top corner of the arena we've got the David Brown backbone. Behind that we've got the International B414, saying generally if the International start with 4, it means you're built at their Bradford factory. International literally were that, they had factories all over the world. They had numerous in the UK, Doncaster, Bradford, I believe they had one down the country somewhere as well. Just after that is the Alice Chalmers, a fantastic little tractor that I used to have an Alice Chalmers B. I thought the world of it, we knew it as the Anglia Wasp. I have ended up selling quite a lot of my collection over the past 12 months. So we've got Ford and we've got Fordson. What's the difference between the two? Fordson was produced back in the 40s and the 50s, and there was a spurious manufacturer operating under the name of Ford. So Henry Ford couldn't market his agricultural vehicles and trucks under the Ford name, so he had to use Fordson. Once he got 4,000 pre-course, about 20 mile. What's the top speed? 14 or 15 miles an hour. Not bad for a road run. Great to see it here. Thank you. Next up we've got the Alice Chalmers. Very much like Alice Chalmers, an American company. However, they did have a factory here in the UK. Alice Chalmers got that lovely orange colour about them. I was up at Tractor Fest the other weekend commentating up there, and their specialist, what shall we say, event really was all things orange. So we got a wash with Alice Chalmers tractors. I believe this one was built in 1962, so one of the last tractors that Alice Chalmers produced. I like Alice Chalmers so much that I actually named my daughter's middle name Alice. I used to have one of these tractors very similar, it was an Alice B. The problem with the Alice Chalmers company was they just didn't move in time with the times. The technology didn't move along with the other tractors. As you can see, it's quite a basic tractor is this, but built in the 1960s, and that was ultimately what led to the demise of the company. Thank you. So we've got the little Ford now. We saw the Ford 4000 earlier on. This is a little tiny Ford that would have been used on things like campsites or football grounds, dragging gang mowers, just doing general light duty work. Now it says Ford on there, however this was made in Japan by a Japanese company, and then Ford stuck their badge on there. They just wanted to get into the sort of micro tractor world rather than the larger tractor world. And we can see from the front it's got the New Holland badge on there, so it must be after Ford and Fiat amalgamated. So despite saying Ford on there, they would have been trading as New Holland. So we've got a Fordson Dexter now. Back into the world of Fordsons. These are the earlier tractors. There were two tractors that Fordson made at the time, the Dexter and the Major. We've got a Major up there, that's got the Willowfield campsite trailer on it. This is a smaller variant. They call it Dexter after the cow, small and powerful. Tell us a bit about this tractor.
It's a 1958 and it started its life pulling gang mowers at the school. So it's done a lot of work.
So it had a really easy life this to start with. It would have had smooth tyres on it rather than the open tread tyres, so as not to cut the ground up. However, the open tread tyres, they're far more common and they're a little bit cheaper as well. Saying earlier, been used as a gang mower, so probably wouldn't have had a plough in the ground, hasn't worked that engine too hard, which has welcomed it into the preservation world far easier than if it had a harder life. There's two ways to kill a tractor. One of them is to use it as a scraper tractor, and that's scraping cow poo out of the cubicles, and the other is to use it as a boat launching tractor. Very occasionally we go up to the coast and you see all those tractors sat on the side there on the beach, rotting away, that have been used as boat tractors, and it does bring a tear to my eye. This tractor has never experienced any of that, and it's great to see here. Thank you. So next up we've got the iconic little Great Ferguson tractor. Known as the TE20, stands for Tractor England 20 horsepower. This little tractor is known as a petrol TVO model. So inside here are two fuel tanks. I'm going to try and open up the bonnet if it will go. So there's two fuel tanks in there. This one holds 1 gallon and that one there holds about 4 gallons of tractor vaporising oil. You start the tractor up on petrol, let it warm up, and then once it's warm, you put it onto tractor vaporising oil, which is basically paraffin, petrol, and a little swatch of 2-stroke oil as well. Far, far cheaper to run. The engine has to have a very, very low compression. It was basically before diesel was brought to the masses in the agricultural world. Just remember, farmers were all time with all really light change. So not too long before this tractor was produced, they were using the horse and cart. Just managed to convince farmers that the tractor was the way forward. And then some clown comes along and says we're going to use diesel. No chance. So they managed to sort of meet in the middle and use something called tractor vaporising oil. Smells very nice. A lot of the people, probably 50 years old plus, may remember the old ice cream vans, their donkey engines. They ran on a very similar sort of fuel, and it smells really nice when you're going down the road. Next up we've got the Fordson Major. Now we saw the Fordson Dexter earlier on, small and powerful, the Major, big and beefy. This tractor would have started off with a 4-cylinder engine in there, however it's now got a 6-cylinder engine. The engine out of this tractor initially came out of a combine harvester. Combine harvesters, technology came on so quickly in the agricultural world that they were used for a few years and then put in the shed, scrapped, recycled, but there was generally a very, very good combine harvester with a very, very good engine in it because they were only used about 8 weeks of the year. However, technology had moved on. We had bigger fields, we had bigger gateways, so bigger, better combine harvesters came along very, very quickly. This engine would have done a great deal of work. It would have probably worked harder in this tractor than it ever did in the combine harvester that it first set out its life in. This tractor, I believe, is 1952. 1957, I do apologise. Extremely powerful. I enjoyed a ride around some of the local pubs on it last night. We went on the road run. Johnny is the owner and proprietor of Willowfield campsite, and they're going to be having a steam fair. I think it's 27th and 28th of July. That's only over at Hackney, which is near Gainsborough, out in Lincolnshire. It's great out there, there's no hills to climb. Wonderful area if you've got a caravan. Even if you don't have a caravan, they also have a few glamping style pods where you can stop in chalets. What else have we got over there? Log cabins. So there's an army trailer, an American RV to stay in. The bar on a weekend, and there's, like I said, you can go there anytime you want, but they are having that steam event 27th and 28th of July. So the McCormick International, the B414. This little tractor, the International really only freshly into the world of the preservation industry, or the preservation world, should I say. Made in Great Britain. Generally when it says 4 at the beginning, that means it was made in Bradford. If it says 5, I believe they were made in Doncaster way. However, there are a few exceptions. Quite budget tractors back in the day, weren't a great deal of money. And some people didn't particularly like them that much, especially with them being the international, with lots of different companies that formed together to make this company. Parts are still very cheap for them. I think they're amazing. To be honest, I've never owned one, and it's on my bucket list to own one before my days come to an end. So I will be purchasing one of these at some point. Parts reasonably cheap. They go fairly on the road as well. They do about 15, 16 miles an hour. But great to see it here in the arena. So something really unusual now. And these were designed and built for more of the horticultural world and the agricultural world. About what we've got here, this little machine.
It's a ransom crawler for allotment to market gardens, built in, I think, 1948.
It really is a beautiful little vehicle. Some of these engines, I'm not quite sure whether this is the one, were built by a company called Sturmey Archer, which you will probably... Is this a Sturmey Archer one? We're not quite sure. Originally, you had Sturmey Archer engines on them. And you've probably got more familiar with Sturmey Archer on the early gear bikes. You had 3 gears on the back wheel, and they were quite famous for producing them. But they also produced engines as well. As you can see, there's no steering wheel. How do you steer this? You basically pull the brake on the track of which you want to go in that direction, and it will go right round on itself. It's a centrifugal clutch, so all you do is rev it up and it goes, and you can go right round it. Are we going to do a pirouette? You're going to give us a pirouette? You're going to give us a pirouette? Anyway you want. Probably good. There we go. All the way around. Thank you. Now my goodness, what have we got here? Now this is, of course, as it says on the top of the list, the auto truck. What's it doing here in the world of tractors? These vehicles were beavering around the tractor factories all over the UK and the world for that matter. And they basically delivered the parts to the tractor factories, the car factories all over the industry before we had the likes of the forklift truck. So tell us what we've got here and what you've done to it.
You were in a solid state. Next Sheffield, and I know what they're said about these. I tackled this, tonight, just up to 12 weeks ago, when I was finished, I thought I'll never use this for anything. And I did 165 miles in 2 weeks, and then I'm going to run driving all the way to Scampton. It's been good fun, so I'm going to, in the winter, what's coming, I'm going to build a big one with power tower and everything. Yeah, I've got 4 of them, and this one's got the biggest engine. It's an SP1, 630cc, 10 horsepower. Been good fun.
It certainly is, and it looks absolutely brilliant. These vehicles are designed to tow, I believe, about 7 tonne, is that correct?
The one which, if you look on the back when I come out, you'll see some guide rails underneath, because we only make one lift door, blue, and it's for the Navy, and they're all 5 wheels. And instead of having suspension, it says 2 wheels that move up and down, but it will lift itself up on shore wheels, so I've done this. But the next one will be the 5 wheel version.
So that'll be 1 axle, but with 5 wheels across 1 axle. So you see under there, that's where the original axle would have been. Yeah, a little bit. These were basically designed to operate on concrete factory floors, not showgrounds. But it goes all over, as you can see, it is road registered. And we've even got the co-pilot on the top, which actually quite enjoys riding up there. What's the co-pilot called? Buddy. Buddy's up there on the top, enjoying his ride around the arena. And he will be on his way back to Barnsley later on today, no doubt. So entering into the world of David Brown. David Brown built in Huddersfield, and this is a 25D. So this tractor came around. So this is how it all started for David Brown. David Brown was friends with Harry Ferguson. They had a bit of a fallout. Harry Ferguson went off to see Henry Ford. David Brown started to make his own tractors, and this is what was produced. So here we've got a tractor called VAC1. It stands for Vehicle Agricultural Kerosene. Tell us a bit about it.
Back one, built in 1943, perfect for the ladies to drive, hence the pedals both on the same side. As all the men looked at the wall, so the ladies had to man the land. Land down in place, women land down in. Yeah.
Well, David Brown did see a bit of a gap in the market, and this is one of the few tractors that's got 2 seats as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's easy to drive, and it's got all the modern features on it. Electric start, hydraulic, PTO. It was well in front of its time.
It certainly was. Those 2 seats, great, and also an exceptionally high top gear as well. They'll do about 25, possibly 30 miles an hour welding. Exceptionally fast tractor for its day. And the driver was just saying if you dare hold on to it. Now I had quite a few tractors in my collection, and the only 2 that are remaining are a David Brown Cropmaster and a little grey Ferguson. I'm also looking for the 16 doors from the factory in which this tractor was built in as well. So it's great to see this tractor here. Thank you for fetching it in. We've got a Fordson Major now. I believe every one of these tractors that have been fetched in, these Fordson Majors, have been modified. This could have started off life with a 4-cylinder engine. Tell us a bit about this rather brute of a tractor.
It's a 6-cylinder turbo Ford cargo engine. It's built for tractor pulling. It's just a bit of fun really. So just wanted for a bit of fun.
It certainly is a bit of fun at this now, because Ford is very much a Meccano set. They make trucks, they make tractors, they make vans, they make cars. A lot of the parts are interchangeable. Go get your engine out of a Ford cargo truck, pop it in there, pretty much bolt straight on. All you've got to do is lengthen your chassis rails, so these are a little bit longer. Usually involves a little bit of a longer bonnet as well. And you turn the front axle round to accommodate your steering arrangements, and you're in business. You've got an exceptionally powerful tractor that you can get involved with tractor pulling. So we'll have quite an elaborate hitch on the back and some quite basic wheelie bars. In the world of tractor pulling, basically we stick them on a huge sledge to set off down a runway, and as the sledge goes down the runway we put more and more resistance on the tractor, so the tractor works harder and harder. In competition world, it's basically see how far you get down that runway before you stop, or in demonstration times we basically get to the end, create lots of smoke, front axle comes in the air, it's all good fun. We've got Chris now in his Unimog, and you might be wondering why we've got a truck in with the tractors. So Chris, tell me, what are you doing in here with all the tractors?
Well, this is a type of Unimog, it's a U1200. You get them in sort of 3 different versions. You get the military version, you get the sort of more lorry version, which both of those are more longer wheelbase, so you get the agricultural version like this one, which has got the same stuff as the tractor, so it's got 3-point linkage, PTO front and back, 514,000 speed, hydraulic spools, etc.
Now, this one has got that 3-point linkage on the back, hasn't it? So we can see a bit of a similarity. You'll notice on the back, the majority of the tractors have got the exact same linkage on the back of this. So you could actually put a 4 or 5 footer plough on the back of this and plough a field with it. We've got thousands of gears in there. How many gears has this got?
We've got 26 forward speeds and we've got 26 reverse speeds. We've got the same speeds in reverse and forward. So just a lever to select forward or reverse.
So we're saying earlier that this vehicle can actually do top speed in reverse, over 50 miles an hour in reverse. However, we can't demonstrate that, but what we can do is see how slow it can go, can't we? So while he's pulling all the levers in there to see how slow it can go, I'll just show you the back of it. So here's his 3-point linkage. This goes up and down. Put all your different applications on. Even got the PTO, the power takeoff shaft on there as well. So this thing can do everything a tractor can do and more. It can also get you down the motorway. There we are. We're in first gear. Why anybody would need a gear that slow is beyond me. But that is first gear. And maximum rounds. next up we've got the little grey Ferguson. We've only had one through, but there's quite a few in the queue. These tractors, probably the most common when it comes to the vintage tractor world. If we wet your whistle when it comes to little vintage tractors and you decide you want to buy one, this is the tractor I would recommend that you go out and buy. Is this a petrol paraffin or straight petrol? This is a petrol paraffin. It's just got the guard removed, hasn't it? So yeah, the petrol paraffin, nice and easy mechanics. Parts are pretty simple, parts are pretty cheap, very easy to work on. You go inside a single garage and you can also put them on a trailer and tow it behind. Well, you need a fairly large car really to tow any tractor, but you can certainly tow it behind your standard family 4x4. Tell us a bit about this tractor.
So originally my dad purchased the tractor in 2018. Unfortunately passed away in 2020, so my brother inherited the tractor. When my dad first got it, he wanted to register it on road so he could drive it and do some road runs, which he did a few. It was a bit of a mess when we bought it. All tyres were perished, so we took a set of tyres on it. There was no bonnet on it, so we managed to source another bonnet. That's why it's a different colour. Yeah, still bring it to the show. Only pump works off, so we drive it up. So a bit of a steady run, but
Great to see it here. It is a lovely little tractor this. Are we going to be getting the phone painted one day, or is it going to stop in its original patina?
my dad used to like the patina look, so I think he'll probably stop for now.
Yeah, a little bit of linseed oil on there or something, it'll get it protected. Great to see it in this form. Thank you. They all end up pointing at each other. So we've just got a driver here, this is Phil. He very kindly fetched his tractor in. This is a wheel horse. Both tractors are wheel horses, and they're not just your standard garden tractors. They were built out in America, out of seriously heavy gauge steel, and that's mainly, we've got that to thank for them still being here in the UK and in the show world. A lot of them had an engine called a Cola engine in, and that's not Coca-Cola as in the stuff we drink. It's spelled Kohler, single cylinder petrol engine. Capable of doing pretty much everything that a standard tractor can do, just a little bit slower. Great to see this one here. I believe this has got a slightly larger engine in it than the one in Barry's. I'm not 100% sure on models and stuff like that, but I do know that they are very, very strong little tractors and they've got an enormous following all over the world. So next up we've got what a lot of people would think is a little grey Ferguson, which it is. Got a little bit of red on it there here. And let's find out what's going on with this little grey Ferguson with quite a bit of a twist.
It's not a grey Ferguson as such, it's a FF30 1957. It's a French tractor, 30 horsepower, which is a bit more than normal little grey Fergie. And it was an Arctic tractor, that's why it's narrow and the bars are bent. Pulled it out in the barn in about 2012. 20 years standing, give it a bit of being gun, it fires straight up.
Well, you're out pretty much every weekend at all the different steam fairs, aren't you? And we met up a few weeks ago at a tractor fest up at Newby Hall. You went home with a little bit of a modification, didn't you? Tell everybody what happened in the arena.
I had a slight modification, massive Ferguson 1200, which weighs about 9 tonnes, decided to run into the back of my box and reshape it for me. A bit of side 13, soon straighten it back up.
So yeah, we do have the occasional mishap in the arena, and unfortunately Fred got it this time. So once again, a little grey Ferguson here. It's a TE20 tractor, England, 20 horsepower. Capable of doing about 13 miles an hour on the road. It was Harry Ferguson that invented the 3-point linkage, which is on the back of this tractor. These arms go up and down. You can use all sorts of different implements that Ferguson devised and sold for this tractor. It was all about weight distribution, so that when you had your plough in the ground, it wasn't just dragging it along like a horse, it transferred the weight of the tractor into it. It was all a very, very clever idea. And even your most brand newest tractors that you will see in production today also have the 3-point linkage. Some of them have the 3-point link on the front as well. It all started off courtesy of Harry Ferguson on this style of tractor. Now the UK had such a fantastic array of tractors being built in the UK, in the UK we didn't really have much need to fetch foreign tractors into this world. However, Czechoslovakia offered a vehicle known as a Zeta, or is it a Zeta? Jury's still out, isn't it? Now the lady driver says a Zeta, and the gentleman here says Zeta. Tell us about what we've got.
It's a 1990. They look for one for quite a bit because they usually have quite a hard life, but we got this off the golf course in Huntingdon in quite good nick. So we do use it for grass cutting, and we tow the caravan here with it. And we've got quite a few bits on it, but luckily you can get every nut and bolt for it, it seems, so quite a good thing to maintain.
Now there's a place down, I think it's Macclesfield, isn't it, where you can get all the parts for these tractors. So despite them being foreign and not that common in UK climes, you can get all the bits for them. What's going on with this cam? It's absolutely enormous, isn't it? And that's because in the world of Czech, often they didn't have a car, they just had the tractor for the farm. So you're capable of getting many passengers in here. I've been in one of these and I took 7 passengers with me, all inside the cab. So they were designed to take those passengers. Also, folks say you can grow your tomatoes in there and all the rest. But actually, for carrying more and more passengers, super fetching it in. Now, believe it or not, this actually tows the caravan to the shows as well. It's got a shock link on the back of there, so you'll see that tow ball on the back. There's springs inside that will push the caravan as it goes down the road. Tractors don't have suspension, so ideally, in an ideal world, we don't like towing caravans with them. So if you put the shock link on, that just takes a little bit, literally, what it says on the tin, it takes the shock out of the back of the tractor and doesn't ruin the caravan. But ultimately, all the caravan is a wooden box with a bit of pin. So another Ford Major, heavily modified, got the truck engine in there. I believe this is also, it's out of the Ford D series. Built in 1956. So I'm just asking the driver where the engine had come from. This one's actually quite a bit bigger. I thought it came out of a truck, so I did stand corrected. So it may have had a reasonably heavy life as a digger. However, all the parts are available for these tractors. Out in your second and third world countries, these tractors are still earning their keep every single day. You can get everything you need for these vehicles, full engine rebuilds, anything you need are all available. This has also got a winch on the back, so you'll drop these big daggers down into the ground, operate numerous different clutches, and this will tow literally tens of tons. A very powerful winch on the back, and of course a very powerful tractor at the front. Thank you. I've also got the roll bar on there. In modern days, I think it was fetching in the 1970s, if you employed anybody to drive your tractor, you must provide rollover protection, and that still is the case today. If it's your own tractor and you're just using it for show use, you don't need rollover protection. But rollover protection in the form of either a bar or a cab was or still is mandatory. Now you're the second of the Ransom Crawler people. I believe this is the original engine, this is the Sturmey Archer engine. We were talking earlier, we weren't quite sure what the engine was on the previous one, but these vehicles were originally started off life with an air-cooled Sturmey Archer engine. Tell us about what we've got here.
It's another Ransom Crawler. This is a MG Mark II, built around about 1938, I believe. I've had it for a fair few years now. It's had a lot of rebuilds, engine-wise, gearbox, brakes, but still going.
Now, very manoeuvrable these, aren't they? Are you going to give us a pirouette like the last bloke did? So used for the horticultural market gardening industry was. Now sticking with the sort of horticultural market gardening, these little tractors, not the industrial, heavy agricultural side, more for, shall we say, tulip farming, that kind of thing, market gardening. Tell us about what we've got here.
The 1951 BMP president. BMD stands for British Motor Owners, who made it proper in Somerset. Lightweight, a fully with motor and I've got all the big tractors, but it's ideal.
Certainly is. I believe that's a Morris 8 engine in there, isn't it? Now, did you say it stands for British Motorboat? So why is the boat company making tractors? Do we know? I don't know. So we'll have to do some research into that. Thank you. So next up we've got a Field Marshal. Now these really are a phenomenal tractor. They're running around a 3.5 litre diesel engine on one cylinder. The cylinder runs back to front within the engine. The cylinder bore is just over 6 inches. Adam, you can use a blank shotgun cartridge. It's a specialist blank shotgun cartridge, not just any one. You pop it in here, put it in. Put a bit of a pre-light in the cylinder head. Set your engine up to the right area and you whack that with a hammer. There's a huge bang and the engine will burst into life. Now that method of starting the engine can be a little bit harsh on the engine, so the alternative is to use the ignition key. So you're going to swing that round 3 times. If it all goes well and it fires, it's a good job. If it doesn't, you end up laying the tractor about 10 foot in front of it on your back, usually with 999 pre-dialed into your phone. This runs by 8 and 8 base. It is a 2-stroke diesel engine, and that engine won't run with that exhaust, and it has to have a special shaped exhaust in order for it to run. So single cylinder and blow some lovely smoke rings as it sets off. Now last but certainly not least is this gorgeous old Fortune standard end. We've got an information board. So this tractor built 1918, my goodness me. This tractor worked in the Suffolk and Norfolk area before being recovered from a scrapyard in 1960 and restored for a local agricultural museum in Norfolk. It's had some extra modification added in its working life and carries a German-built governor and magneto conversion with a blacksmith converted manifold and fuel system. The driver found this tractor in 2020 in the Derbyshire Peak District where it was going to be broken for spares. Since buying the tractor, it's had a basic mechanical restoration and used for working days and rallying. As you can see on the radiator, the tractor has some old-fast plates from previous steamrollers in the 60s and 70s from the East Anglia area, owned by Dan and Bartle. Thank you very much for fetching it in. It really is an interesting old tractor, and at that age, 1918, phenomenal to see here at Sheffield. Thank you. What a great array of tractors. We're going to start by them doing their final laps of honour before returning to their station positions. Now normally we'll be doing the tractor trailer reversing competition, however our tractor trailer has had to go home early. So we do apologise, we won't be running the tractor trailer reversing competition after the parade of tractors. We did do it yesterday, but unfortunately it won't be happening today. We may have a short interlude. We're going to try and keep the tractors in for as long as possible, and then we're going to be welcoming motorbikes into the arena at 12 o'clock. Up there by the Ford 4000 in its working clothes. That's been driven about 20 miles to be here at the fair. They've got the Alice Charmers. They've got a bit of a soft spot for the old Alice Charmers. Lots of people who like the Alice B, very rusty tractors. And the earlier Alice B's, you see the seat is quite far to the back. A lot of those tractors got smashed in too. When they were emerging from a field onto a road, cars would come through them, hit the front of them, and they got snapped in too. So there's not a great deal of Alice B left because of those accidents that used to occur. The seat was far too far to the back. I did say earlier, out in the world of Alice Charmers, it led to its demise because it just didn't keep up with technology. 1918, followed by the David Brown back one. And that colour is known as Hunting Pink. A while was it called Hunting Pink. The tractor that was produced by David Brown was actually black. But when they got it finished, they ran it up to David Brown's house, which was Farouk and Malcolm in Huddersfield. They said, we've done it, we've finished it. It was in the middle of the night. And David Brown ran out, he said, that's absolutely brilliant. All we're going to do now is work out what colour we want it. I've got a very good idea. He ran back into his house and he got his hunting jacket, which was that colour. Turned the hunting jacket over the front of the tractor. He says, that's the colour I want my tractors. So that is how Hunting Pink ended up being on David Brown's tractors. David Brown's quite a clever bloke. He bought a failing sports car company. You may have heard of it, known as Aston Martin. He paid, I believe, around £36,000 for it. Way back when, I'm not quite sure which year. He managed to transform that company. So the Aston Martin DB range. No prizes for guessing what DB stands for. A lot of the tractor manufacturers did, or rather sports car manufacturers did start making tractors, the likes of Lamborghini, Ferrari and Porsche. They all made tractors back in the day. And if anybody's been watching Clarkson's farm, you'll see that he's got a Lambo tractor. So that many UK tractor manufacturers, so we didn't really need to fetch foreign tractors in at the time. We've got a wonderful array of tractors in here. I don't know if anybody's noticed, we've got fantastic eyes. There's an aeroplane doing some really fancy business over there, right up at the top end of the arena. There seems to be a bit of an acrobatic show going on. It's not for this show, it may be for a different one, but it keeps coming up and spinning round and doing loop-de-loops. I certainly wouldn't want to be sat in that.